Welcome to this episode of Destination Dare. Every community in the Outer Banks has a story to tell, and this show brings that information to life. From Dare County history to current events, from government services to local profiles, we keep you entertained, informed, and up to date. Located on the southern tip of Hatteras Island, Hatteras Village is a historic maritime village that's both vibrant and welcoming. It's a place to relax and unwind, and to explore and discover the many one-of-a-kind places and incredible individuals that call the quaint community home. Hatteras Village offers world-class fishing and water sports opportunities, top-notch restaurants, unique shops, and some of the most pristine beaches in the entire United States. But there is one thing this picture-perfect seaside community is lacking: a paved multi-use pathway where pedestrians and bicyclists can travel safely from place to place without being forced to walk along the side of Highway 12, which runs through the village.
Everybody has always wanted a pathway in this village. They've always wanted safety for their children. They've wanted people to come to their business safely, leave safely. So in all of our community meetings over the last 15 years, Hatteras Village sidewalks have been the #1 priority for everybody in this community.
Visitors and residents of Hatteras Village won't have to face these dangers when traveling through town much longer. After 15 years of hard work and dedication put forth by the residents of Hatteras Village, their tireless efforts have paid off, and construction on the new Hatteras Village pathway is finally underway.
So many people worked on this project for the last 15 years. To actually finally be able to bring it to fruition is just amazing. It's paramount for Hatteras Village. I mean, everybody really pulled this project together. They saw our initial vision and they never stopped believing in the project.
The path the residents of Hatteras Village have had to travel to finally get this new multi-use pathway off the ground has not been a short or easy one.
In 2006, the Scenic Byway Committee recommended a conceptual plan for pathways in all Hatteras Island villages. We got that supported by the Dare County Board of Commissioners, by the Dare County Tourism Board, by the Albemarle Regional Planning Organization. Part of this story about this pathway in Hatteras Village is it takes a long time to put something in place.
Despite the obvious need and clear demand for the project, it has faced a variety of hurdles over the last decade and a half. The most significant hurdle was finding the funding necessary to construct the pathway. But the pathway's advocates within the Hatteras Village community refused to push the plans for the project aside. And they even went so far as having a bill passed by the North Carolina General Assembly in 2017, House Bill 415, that allowed a special election to be held within the Hatteras Village Community Center District.
So we started this project and we hit a lot of barriers. So in order to fund the project, we went to Commissioner Couch and we're exploring options where he went to Representative Boswell and Senator Cook to change the enabling legislation for the Hatteras Community Center District that will allow us to fund a pathway, both construction and maintenance. Before we were only allowed to use the funds for buildings and grounds. So this was a big hurdle removed.
Established in 1981, the Hatteras Village Community District is a special tax district within the Hatteras Village that is subject to a special ad valorem tax on all taxable real property within its borders. During the primary election that was held in May 2018, a pathways referendum was placed on the ballot, and it passed with a landslide 94% of the vote. Survey work for the project began the following spring as stakeholders continued to apply for grants and pursue the funding that was needed to give the Hatteras Village Pathway project the green light to move forward. In 2020, the project finally began to secure enough money to officially proceed with the project. This funding included approximately $342,000 that was collected through the village's designation as a special tax district, a $360,000 10-year no-interest loan through the Cape Hatteras Electric Cooperative from the U.S. Department of Agriculture Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant Program, an additional $10,725 from the Cape Hatteras Electric Cooperative to help fund the environmental assessment of the upcoming pathway, And finally, a $342,640 Tourism Impact Grant from the Dare County Tourism Bureau that was approved by the Dare County Board of Commissioners in December 2020. With the necessary funding finally in place, the Hatteras Village Pathway project was officially ready to get underway. In March 2021, surveying work began on the 3.1-mile-long pathway, which will stretch from the Hatteras Village northern entrance to an area near the ferry docks that are situated at the southern end of the village. In order to add an additional route that pedestrians and bicyclists can take as they travel through town, the pathway will also include a loop along Eagle Pass Road. Construction of the Hatteras Village Pathway is expected to take about 150 days, and Barnhill Contracting, whose crews are building the pathway, anticipates that the project will be completed by mid-August 2021.
Adding this pathway will make it even more pedestrian friendly. It's going to connect the businesses with the working waterfront, with vacation rental homes, with hotels, motels, and it also incorporates it with the North Carolina ferry system and the passenger ferry that gets you to Ocracoke.
Not just wearing a hat as a county commissioner, these are my people, this is my district, but also as a lifelong resident here. We pull together, we look after our own. You will not find a stronger sense of community on the Outer Banks than right here in this village. I'm absolutely proud of the effort that has gone into it. Everybody has bought into it. It's all hands on deck, and when you've got that kind of power behind you, you're unstoppable.
More than 15 years in the making, the Hatteras Village Pathway is finally coming to fruition, and when it's officially completed later this summer, it will provide pedestrians and bicyclists with a safe route through the village. The creation of this highly anticipated pathway also serves as a stunning example of what can be accomplished when a community comes together for a common cause that will benefit the residents of this tiny seaside village, as well as the many visitors from around the world who come to the island to vacation in Hatteras Village every year.
My name is Kevin Zork, and I'm the Emergency Manager and Fire Marshal in the town of Manteo. I have the honor of working alongside a professional team of colleagues that prioritize whole community safety every day. I'm pleased to bring my 37 years of fire service experience to the town in this position. I find that working with businesses through public education, planning, and cooperation helps build relationships and improve life safety. As an organization, we collaborate with other resources, both governmental and private, to prepare for life safety threats. Close working partners of the town include the National Weather Service, Dare County Emergency Management, the Fire Marshal's Office, Dare County EMS, and frequently the Roanoke Island Volunteer Fire Department. I'm fortunate to network with an engaged, close-knit community, individuals and businesses alike, that encompass our town. In the town of Manteo, we're expected to wear many different hats. The first hat I wear is that of the fire marshal. One of my primary roles as a fire marshal is the annual completion of commercial fire inspections and technical plan reviews. These actions are as important as they safeguard our buildings for occupancy. During these activities, specific attention is given to fire alarms, fire suppression systems, fire department access, exit doors, and emergency lighting. Fire inspection visits usually take less than 1 hour and provide the business an opportunity to ask questions about facility safety. The fire marshal can introduce various public fire education topics, how to prevent fires, use a fire extinguisher, identify a hazardous condition, and how to initiate emergency action planning for the business. The next hat I wear is the emergency manager. As an emergency manager in Manteo, I'm responsible for helping town staff and the community with disaster preparedness, response, recovery, and mitigation efforts. Threats might come in the form of a hurricane or a flood, or a fire or hazardous materials release. In order to provide a framework to successfully reduce these threats, Manteo adopted the National Incident Management System as a platform for disaster management. For example, this system requires that the town develop an incident action plan prior to any large crowd gatherings to ensure participants have a safe experience. During gatherings and critical events, the emergency manager assumes the role of incident commander to coordinate the town response. Annually, the emergency manager updates the emergency operations plan and applies for grants to help Manteo become more disaster resilient. We continually review our performance to evaluate readiness and conduct after-action assessments to determine what areas can be strengthened. As a Town of Manteo team member, I'm proud to continue a centuries-old fire service tradition of neighbors helping neighbors. Please do not hesitate to reach out to our office at Town Hall with any questions or requests. I want to close with a quote from Henry Ford that exemplifies the whole community concept in Manteo. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Test those smoke alarms monthly and stay safe.
I'm Durante White from the Town Access Sanitation Division. We recently made some changes to our sanitation route to be more effective and efficient. We recently consolidated our 3 previous routes into 2, and so now we have a green route and a blue route, and the collection schedule stays the same all year long. The 2 routes both get 2 days of trash collections using the green carts. Recycling subscribers get 1 day using the blue carts. Let's take a ride in the truck and I can give you some more information. For properties on the green route, trash collections on Tuesdays and Fridays. For properties on the blue route, trash collections on Monday and Thursday. A map of the new route and schedule is available at nagsednc.gov/sanitation. There is a requirement for seasonal rental units to maintain 1 trash cart for every 2 bedrooms. And we do have some great news on recycling. The town has a $9 a month subscription on recycling. Curbside recycling is always on Mondays. To reduce confusion, we're collecting blue recycling carts and we'll reissue them to the curbside recycling subscribers. You are no longer required to have a certain amount of recycled carts. Please do not use your blue carts for trash disposals any longer. Thanks for watching.
I'm Sergeant Rodney Rawls with the Kildare Hills Police Department, and I would like to welcome everyone back to another safe driving season. We're glad you're here. There are some traffic tips we would like to share to help drivers navigate the Outer Banks. First, as a driver, be aware of pedestrians and cyclists. Folks are out and about enjoying themselves and sometimes unaware of moving vehicles. Be sure to stop at crosswalks when pedestrians are waiting in them. Pedestrians, when getting ready to cross the street, cross only at designated crosswalks. Have your entire party with you and make sure the little ones are in hand. Besides pedestrians, always watch for cyclists. Cyclists have the same statute as motor vehicles, and cyclists should always travel in the same direction as traffic. Try to keep 1 car length between you and the car in front of you for safety, including at stoplights. In the Outer Banks, speed limits vary on US 158 as well as NC 12, so keep an eye out for speed limit signs. On US 158 or the bypass to locals, we have a middle channeling lane. When you see a traffic light change from green to yellow, please slow down. Do not speed up. If you see a blinking yellow arrow, that means be cautious before you turn. If you see an emergency vehicle coming from behind you, move to the right on the bypass or pull over completely on the beach road. Pull over as well if an emergency vehicle is coming towards you on the beach road. You do not need to stop or move to the right if an emergency vehicle is coming towards you on the bypass. If you happen to be in an accident, you should immediately call 911. Advise the dispatcher if anyone is injured, and if not, if you can safely get the vehicles out of the road, please do so. Officers will respond and assist you from that point. And always lock your vehicle when you're leaving it unattended anywhere. Let's keep your time in the Outer Banks safe and enjoyable. Enjoy your visit.
Hi, I'm Officer Macon, Kitty Hawk Police Department. One thing we try to focus on here at Kitty Hawk Police Department is community outreach, and what a better way to do that than have a fishing tournament at the Kitty Hawk Pier. We are hanging out with kids in the community, catching some fish with them and having fun. It's a good way to show the kids that, hey, we like to do the things that you do too, and that we're always there for you, and if they ever have questions for us, they can feel more comfortable coming up and asking us.
It kind of looks like a rainbow. Does it look like a black?
It's fun because we're out here fishing with our parents and catching a lot of cool fish.
I really appreciate the Kitty Hawk Police for setting this up. Kids can come out with their parents, siblings, grandparents, and fish.
No, I was really excited to see that there was another fishing tournament. Obviously, things have been a little bit different with, the pandemic and stuff like that. All the usual activities and things haven't been around. And again, it gets, the community kind of back out doing the stuff that we sort of pride ourselves on, being the, tight-knit sandbar, little tiny island we call home. So I'm so happy. The turnout looks great. The kids are having a blast.
Growing up here on the Outer Banks, coming to Kitty Hawk Pier was always a great opportunity. It was always really fun to come out here and fish and just hang out with people and just be a member of the community here. We did a tournament for ages 6 to 14. Kids can catch anything from puppy drum, speckled trout, skate, sea mullet, bluefish, and we've been seeing all those this morning. So it's been real good.
Hi, my name is Caleb, and I really love coming out here and fishing with my dad. I'm really happy that the Kitty Hawk Police Department put this on.
Who caught something today?
I caught something. I caught a stingray. I caught a
big
what's
stingray.
it called again?
You got a
Skate.
really big skate.
A skate, very big skate.
Huge.
I would like to thank TW's Bait and Tackle. They have given us some bait, a couple rods. I would like to thank Pox Art. I would like to thank High Cotton Barbecue, who's been providing hot dogs for the event and some food. Walmart for their donation of a couple fishing rods and some water. And, my favorite thing about today is seeing all the smiles on the kids' faces, especially when they reel in that fish. There's nothing like it. It's awesome. It brings me back to when I was their age.
Hey! Get another one, right?
A hang glider soaring over Jockey's Ridge is a common sight on the Outer Banks. But hang gliders and paragliders, stunt kites and modern parachutes would not have been possible without the invention of the Fragallo Wing by longtime Southern Shores resident Francis Fragallo. Francis Fragallo passed away in 2009, leaving the world a remarkable legacy. Born in 1912 in Sanger, California, Fragallo fell in love with flying when a barnstormer flew over his house. He was 7 years old at the time. That love of flight took him to Stanford University, where he was awarded one of the first aeronautical engineering degrees in the nation in 1935. He hoped to enlist as a pilot in World War II, but a childhood accident left him ineligible for military service. Even before World War II, Fragallo was working on improving aircraft, and it was in 1940 that he applied for his first patent, lateral control for aircraft. That patent was awarded in 1943. It was the first of 20 patents that have been awarded in his name. As one of the first aeronautical engineers in the country, as World War II swept the nation, the government recruited the top scientists to work at the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, or NACA, the predecessor to NASA.
When he had graduated from Stanford in aeronautical engineering, he took the test to come to what was then NACA, National Advisory Committee on Aeronautics. That was his job. So There are a lot of things he did. Every time you fly on an airplane and you see those wing flaps go, every time I'm on it, I go, thank you, Daddy.
Continuing to work for NACA after the war, he became fascinated with the idea that spars, struts, and structure were not necessary to control flight.
He started fiddling around with the idea in the mid-40s when he realized that all the work he was doing in the wind tunnels indicated that airplanes were just getting heavier and faster and more complex and more expensive and harder to fly. And he thought it just wasn't fair that only millionaires in the military had access to aviation. He wanted something that would be inexpensive, practical, available to everybody. What he was really after was a flying car, which we never quite got, but his idea was, wouldn't it be great if you could drive to the outskirts of town and unfold a wing out of your trunk and fly away? And so that was the idea that led him to start experimenting with flexible wings.
Working at home with his wife Gertrude, the idea of a flexible wing took shape as Gertrude sewed the concept into reality. The first wing was made from a flowered chintz kitchen curtain. In 1948, Francis and Gertrude Fragallo filed for a patent for their flexible kite. The NACA became NASA in 1958, and Fragallo was one of its top engineers. The agency explored the possibility of using the Fragallo Wing to control the re-entry flight of their spacecraft, allowing astronauts to glide capsules to controlled runway landings. Ultimately, NASA decided against using the Fragallo Wing, but the potential of the Fragallo Wing was noticed by others, and the idea of suspending a person from the bottom of a wing created the first hang gliders in the early 1960s.
He first visited down here on the Outer Banks in the 30s. Of course, the Wright brothers have always been icons of his life. And so when they got ready to retire, they bought a cottage on the ocean in Southern Shores. He was one of the first volunteer fire persons at Southern Shores. And then when John Harris and Ralph Buxton started Kitty Hawk Kites, of course he got involved with them just as a friend, and he started hang gliding down there, and then the whole business grew.
Francis Fragallo had been using Jockey's Ridge as a natural wind laboratory as early as like the 1967, flying full-scale paragliders. And luckily enough, Rog lived long enough to see the fruition of this, the largest hang gliding school in the world, and more people are introduced to that first dream of his, the ability to fly.
What we were trying to invent was a wing for aircraft that was simple and unbreakable, and you could fold it up and inexpensive, and so that more people could afford to fly. And I think that's the way it's worked out.
As far as I can tell, there's no place on the planet where there are more iterations of flexible wings seen regularly. You know, hang gliding on Jockey's Ridge, of course, is iconic, and we see hang gliders out there all the time. But one of the newest one is kiteboard kites. You know, this place is a mecca. Those are just more flexible wings. We have powered paragliders that fly around, powered hang gliders, and our modern stunt kites. All that stuff comes out of flexible wing technology. So this place and Francis Fragallo's connection to it is pretty special.
He enjoyed watching people having fun on something that anybody could afford to do that wanted to do it, and that was the reason.
Francis Fragallo, longtime Southern Shores resident, inventor, aeronautical engineer, and part of the team that put the United States into space, passed away in 2009, leaving a flight legacy that will never be forgotten.
Hi, my name is Betsy Trimble, and I'm the event coordinator for the town of Duck. Summer is almost here, and we are so excited to see everyone around town. Last year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we had to cancel our in-person free events at the town park. Looking forward, there does seem to be an end in sight to the pandemic. However, we are not there yet. Later this summer, we hope to see the return of some of your favorite in-person events. However, until we can safely and responsibly do this, we're starting the season with the return of our virtual events. Please also remember that the town park and boardwalk are still open for you to enjoy. Our popular fitness classes will begin the 2021 season on Facebook Live. Join us on the Town of Duck Facebook page weekly from wherever you are. We do hope to see the transition of these classes back onto the town green later this summer. Beginning Tuesday morning, June 15th at 7:30 a.m., Village Yoga will lead a gentle beginner class. Beginning Wednesday morning, June 16th at 7 a.m., local trainer DL Altoff with OBX Fitness Collective will lead this playful and fun introductory class to movement. We extend a big thank you to Village Realty and Zen & Zip for their generous sponsorships of the fitness programs. We are also bringing back some of last year's virtual events, such as the chalk art contest, bingo, trivia, and more. Unfortunately, we have made the decision to cancel the annual 4th of July parade and community celebration for 2021. But that does not mean we will not celebrate. Why limit the celebration to one day? This year, we are planning a window and display contest among businesses in the town of Duck that will begin mid-June. Stay tuned for all the details and information as they become available. Be sure to check out townofduck.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the most up-to-date information on town events.
I'm Christian Legner, PIO with the Town of Duck. We're all looking forward to the return of the 2021 Duck Jazz Festival this October 9th and 10th. We'll have events throughout town the week before, including some small events on our green. So mark your calendars. For more information, follow us at duckjazz.com, on Facebook, Duck Jazz Festival, or on Twitter at Duck Jazz Fest.